Welcome everybody to the Attack on Titan Chapter 65 edition of A Cast on Titan. With us today we have a special guest, and this
very special guest.
This will be a fantastic episode.
You're killing me.
The pressure is on. I don't
feel like I need to be great now. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
I don't know if you're ready for this pressure. It's gonna like hit you all at once, and you just just try not to fold over.
I seek validation from strangers, so I gotta really do this right.
So, let's go ahead and introduce everybody that's here tonight so that we can introduce our guest. Normal order.
Alright, I'm Scott, Scotty V23 from Reddit.
No, you're not.
I'm not from Reddit. We do this every time.
We do this every time, because every month you have made a total of 0 posts on Reddit.
Reddit? I think I have. Maybe not the subreddit, but Reddit in general.
You know what, Zach? Being a lurker counts.
It counts.
Lurkers are people too.
Lurkers have rights too.
They do. We still have to
respect us, Zach.
Zach, we still have to work for them too.
Alright, fine.
I am Stiller3 from the subreddit. I am one of the mods, and I am looking forward to an awesome episode tonight.
That was lame. I'm Zach. I'm Darth Mewtwo on Reddit.
What am I supposed to say?
A little more than that, maybe a little about yourself like you're an Annie freak.
Yeah.
Very good. Very
Zach.
Good, Zach.
How awesome
that was a great opening. Oh, wow.
I'm not done. I was waiting for you to make a comeback. I was being polite for once, okay?
Yeah, for once.
It was a gentleman's pause, is what it was.
Yes, it was. It was a very gentlemanly pause for you to have the right to defend yourself, but I see you forfeited that. So, Annie Freak, I am also one of the moderators of the subreddit, and I don't like Annie.
Wow, really? That's what the pause was for?
Classy.
Them's fighting words, man. It's starting off right tonight. All right. Well, shit, I guess I'll introduce myself. I'm Tom Andre. I'm the director, writer, creator of a Slap on Titan, and all-around insane person, and anime abridge overdubber.
Yeah, it's awesome to have Tom with us tonight. We're super excited and glad he's still alive after getting ready for season 2.
Yeah. Lots of caffeine. Red Bull is keeping me going through the season. So, if by some chance you happen to be listening to this podcast, please send me crates of, tons of just, giant caffeine drinks. I will drink them all.
That's right. You don't have to. You don't have to be sponsored by it to still, promote it real well.
A Cast on Titan, now brought to you by Red Bull Incorporated. Red Bull gives you wings.
There you go.
Yeah.
And nothing else.
Absolutely nothing else. Diabetes, maybe.
And kidney failure.
All right.
Yep, there we go.
So now that everybody's introduced, Cast on Titan is a spoiler podcast. In this episode, we're going to be talking only about things related to Chapter 65 and things that are manga spoilers. So if you have not read the manga and if you are not up to date with the latest chapter, you should not listen to the rest of this podcast.
Unless you're weird and want to hear it.
If you don't care, then go right ahead.
Yeah.
But
If you get weird with us, just join us. It's all good. So.
Weirdo.
But this is not going to be the episode where we forget to say that there are manga spoilers in the podcast.
Because we're totally not recording this after we finish the main recording and realize
not
we
at
didn't
all.
warn you.
It's not even like that. Well, let's go ahead and do the same order and give our impressions. What did you guys think about this chapter? Was this a good chapter?
I think this was a really good chapter. I was impressed at the pace. I think it's going at a very quick, no, not necessarily quick, but it's going at a mediocre pace, and I'm okay with it because we're getting a lot of revelations, a lot of information. I like how Kenny is definitely becoming one of my, not most favorite characters, but is becoming a very well appreciated character, for me at least. And I like how the direction he's taking. But I don't like the direction that Historia is taking, and I think everyone's on my side with this. So I'm pleased that people are coming around to that realization that Historia is just, I don't know what's going on with her, man. And it's really befuddling to me, but oh well. We'll see where that goes.
It's not everyone, but I think it's a large majority have now actually made that into an argument. But we say revelations and information every single month, and every new chapter that comes out, we always go, oh, well, they answered this question, or oh, they started to look at that question, and it just doesn't stop. It's always continuous.
That's because we're on the downward slope of more questions answered than being asked at this point.
Yeah, now we're on the slope of information. The information.
Thank
slope.
God.
The information slope. Oh, it's glorious.
I was actually generally surprised by this chapter. I liked this chapter more than I thought I ever could have. Because I remember last chapter, Scotty asked me, he said, has there ever been a chapter that you would have outright said that you actually liked? And I was like, generally not really. As long as it's not bad, I'm okay with it. But this is like the first chapter in a while that I read it, and I was like, you know what? This was actually pretty good. I actually kind of like this chapter. Like, yeah. I changed opinions on some no, not totally. I had some variations in my thoughts on some of the characters, like Kenny and Historia and Eren, and all the ones you would think that we're going to talk about. But it was positive for me. It was pretty good.
I also thought this was a very good chapter. I definitely like how we saw Kenny basically shift from the main enemy of the series to someone I see as possibly a potential ally of the Survey Corps in the future here. I'm alright with the direction Historia has taken, just because I want to see how it will pan out. If we'll have 2 shifters instead of 1, if we'll have no shifters, if Historia will die, if Eren will die, if something else will happen, if Mikasa has a heart attack. Quite possible, actually.
I'm surprised Mikasa didn't keel over by finally just seeing him and that he still exists.
I don't think she has seen him yet, though.
They're about to, I think.
Yeah, and that's another thing I wanted to note. I think that this chapter marks the first time in over a year that the main character of the goddamn series has had a word to say.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's good to finally have him be able
Oh, yeah, that's... holy crap, I didn't even realize that. Wow, yeah, that is true. Man. Well, I gotta say that this latest chapter was pretty mind-blowing for me. First off, it fleshed out Kenny so much as a character. It made him so much more 3D and believable in general. Like, he always kind of struck me as kind of this weird villain. Like, he just seemed weird. There didn't really seem to be much rhyme or reason to what he was doing. It was just like he was just a villain in the story because they needed a villain. But now it's finally it's finally fleshing out that, hey, maybe he did have other motivations going on. Maybe he did have other goals that he was trying to do. And we're starting to see him play the tables with the Reese family and really lay down some hard truth on Historia. Like what he said there was just completely on point, that Rod Reese was not getting Historia in there because he cared for her as a daughter or anything like that. He was just using her because he needed someone of the bloodline to be the successor. And so that was pretty mind-blowing for me. Another thing that really struck me was Mikasa may now quite legitimately be the strongest human being inside the walls, because, or at least the most valuable human being inside the walls, because it was mentioned that there were 2 bloodlines, the Asians and the Ackermans, who were immune to the effects of the Royal Crown's mind-altering powers, like erasing people's memories, and that the Ackermans and the Asian family had turned their back on the monarchy. Well, Mikasa Ackerman, she's from both of those bloodlines, and maybe she's got the best of both worlds. So, like, who knows? Maybe she's just perfectly suited to, I don't know, do something down the line in the future. But let's say she gains these powers, or has to resist these powers. Who knows? Like, she could legitimately be the best of both worlds. So maybe she's the most valuable human being inside the wall. It was an interesting thought.
Makes sense to me.
Love that song.
Wow.
Best of both worlds.
Actually, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm thinking of the Sammy Hagar version. I'm not sure which one you guys are singing.
Hannah Montana, man.
Oh, well, that explains a lot, I think.
Oh, Zach.
Oh, Zach.
So, yeah, Kenny, and the way that he was talking to Historia, I think everyone had that moment, reading that Kenny was saying these things to Historia. Everyone just had that moment where they went, yeah, you tell her, Everyone was
he was laying it down. He was laying the truth out.
Everyone was like so happy that they could put themselves in Kenny's shoes for that moment and say all the shit to Historia that they wanted her to realize.
Yeah.
And yet, I think everyone had that moment of like, yeah, go Kenny, and then subsequently they had the moment of, wait, none of this again through to you, is it? Because she does literally nothing about it. She just looks and stares, and it's like, oh no, oh my god, my worst nightmare. You get all this information and do nothing with it. Oh no.
It's like she just looked past him and was just like thinking around him,
Yeah, she was just looking off in the distance. Yeah, no, please.
I was profoundly disturbed by how alright she was with this strange man, Rod Reese, coming back into her life when she hasn't seen him at all since the day her mother was killed, and telling her to eat like one of her better friends that she's known for at least 3 years, just on the spot. And she's like, you know what? Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah,
I'm a little peckish.
He seems okay.
I've been down in this cavern for a little while. I'm getting a little hungry. Are there any snacks? Oh, there's Eren.
Yeah. And Eren said it was okay, so, a little nibble won't hurt.
Hey, as long as your friend says it's okay to eat him, there's nothing wrong with it. So, that's there's something a little bit off about how accepting she was of that. It kind of struck me a little weird. Like, I get that, they want to bring peace to the land, and that Historia believes that following what Rod Reese is telling her will do that. Whether that's actually true or not, who knows? But I knowing myself, I would have to say, okay, let's take a time out for a second and sit the hell down and just talk this out.
Yeah, let's make a campfire and
let's a little powwow and let's talk this out. Because, all right, if you think about it, it's like, so if I eat Eren, I may be able to save humanity. But the person who told me this is also the person who Kenny just completely discredited. So
and
I have to
scumbag.
Yeah, and he's a scumbag. So I have to at least reevaluate what I've been told and then see if it makes sense and if this is even the right thing to do with that information if I accept it. And she's just like, oh, well, Eren, we had good times. And she's like putting the needle into her. It's like, what? Like, no time at all took to think about that. It's like, oh,
Eren, remember that time that you said that I was like a normal person? God, that was great. Oh, hey, I'm going to eat you now, by the way.
Yeah,
me too. I was about to say that exact thing.
We just need to all sit down and have a nice Socratic seminar on the pros and cons of eating your best friend.
This isn't something that can't be solved with s'mores, you guys.
Yeah.
S'mores.
It really isn't. S'mores and spinal fluid. Like, it's a bad campfire.
It's the best, worst combination ever.
That's right. But
I still take issue that nobody's as outraged as I am. That nobody cares that people's memories are being erased. Why am I the only one who actually cares about this?
They can worry about that later. Right now, they have to save Eren.
I'm not arguing that mind wipe should or shouldn't exist. I'm saying
anymore.
Rod doesn't care. Historia apparently doesn't even care that memories are being erased. People's childhoods are being destroyed and wiped away, and just nobody's.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, I don't think Rod exactly explained to Historia, oh, this is something we actively use. It seemed more like he just said, once upon a time we used this. No, the Titan used this. And sure, we have the power, but we don't really use it. Don't worry about it.
The other problem I had was this not necessarily new, but when they first introduced Historia's devotion, quote unquote, to Frida. She said, I want to do this to get my sister back. I'll eat Eren if I could just get my sister back. I'm doing all this so that I could finally meet her again. And I'm just sitting here you're going to throw all this away for someone you don't even, you kind of barely know it all, kind of barely remember. You went through all that shit you did with Ymir, and you went through the training for the 4 years, and you survived all the way up to this point. You're just going to throw it away for this person that you don't really know that much about.
Who, by the way, is dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. It's kind of like, I think the best metaphor for it our analogy would be if, let's say you went out drinking one night and you just got totally hammered, and you wake up the next morning and you can't remember anything that happened, but you have a feeling it was a good time. Are you going to eat your friend to get those memories back?
Honestly.
And now imagine that you do that, and you get the memories back, and it turns out that you were just a drunken mess the entire night, and it wasn't actually that good of a time. Like, come on, man.
And now you have to deal with his murderous sister.
Yeah.
You know what?
I don't think if I had memories of someone and it was like 5 memories, I would definitely wait for a couple more before I made a judgment on what that person was like.
Well, especially when the weight of humanity is behind this decision.
I think we've seen like 2, maybe 3 scenes with her in it, her sister, and it's like, really, are we gonna base Frida as a person off of 3 pictures or memories?
Yeah.
It's like,
For
I
all
don't
we
know.
Those are the only good things Frida ever did to Historia, so they were the least intensively scrubbed from her mind, and the rest of the time, she was just a total bondage freak like Zackley.
And then let's also not forget she's still dead. Like, this isn't a resurrection scheme.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's just bringing back a memory and killing someone who is currently living to bring back a memory of someone who's dead.
I do think that was like the perfect analogy, though, because this, like, what she's planning to do, like, for peace or for humanity and this sort of thing. Like, I argued it on the subreddit with somebody. It's like, this isn't the way that Rod is approaching this. This is creating like a false sense of peace, because this is like, okay, if you do this mind wipe to the mass majority of people, they forget about all the horrible things, so we can go back to how it was. But that's like a false sense of peace in the same way that you're like turning away from the problems of the world. You know what I mean? And that kind of led into me thinking that, all right, well, next chapter, the chapter after that, Eren's going to wake up and he's going to go, hey, this is kind of bullshit. Maybe I should fix this.
Yeah.
And maybe this sense of peace that Rod's talking about isn't what it's supposed to be, Like, we'll just go back to square one and this will all happen all over again.
Historia did say something, though, about how she wanted to wipe the world clean of all the Titans. So, I'm not exactly sure what form Rod's peace is going to take. Because, they've had this power passed down through the family for so long, and they never once used it to wipe the world free of Titans or, create a lasting peace. Why should we expect that when Historia gets this power, it's going to happen with her?
Well, that's going to be different.
I think we went into this last time that the reason that Frida and everyone else never did anything is probably because there's some terrible secret that is hidden within the memories that will make them say, we need to stay here now.
The dialogue is written in such a way that it's hard to interpret what she means by rid the world of Titans, because that could just mean, well, if everybody forgets about the Titans and forgets we ever had problems with Titans and everything's fine.
Although, wouldn't it take one guy going on 3D MG'd up the walls to, look over the walls saying, oh shit, what the hell is that?
Yeah. And then one day, Reiner and Berg will show up and they're like, hey guys, time for
want to party?
Have a good time. Boom. And everyone's like, why the hell is there a giant skinless dude on this wall?
It's basically just back to square one.
Yeah.
That's all that really
is. Those who forget the past are doomed to repeat it. It would be the same thing, pretty much.
I don't know. It's like it created this cycle. The mind wipes did, where we're just gonna go back to square one. It might as well have been a time travel theory.
I don't think so. I don't think it's that bad.
Because if it actually goes that far, then we would essentially be going back to square one, would we not?
Yeah, but it won't do that. You know that the story's not going to take it to Historia eats Eren, erases all of humanity's memories, and then
I guess I'm just thinking
Eren wakes back up.
Like the aim of Rod's plan. I guess that necessarily won't happen, but that seems
what's interesting,
like the direction it wants to go.
What's interesting to me is that Rod seems to imply to Historia that if she gets the power back, reclaims it, she can rid the world of Titans, like, literally. But that seems like a different issue altogether than telling the world of its secrets in its past. Because you can just keep that secret and be like, oh, I'm not going to tell you about the past, but you can still control the Titans and get rid of them. So I'm curious as to why neither Frida or the previous generations ever felt the need to actually rid the Titans of the world.
The person who
if they had that
remember
ability.
that he did say that Frida's Titan was supposed to basically be invincible, but she didn't have the full control necessary.
Right, but that leads me to believe that the previous ones had enough time, because we saw the person who sacrificed himself to Frida, who was very old, so I have to imagine that that person gathered enough knowledge and ability to...
I'm actually curious to know if that brother that Frida ate was Kenny's friend Uli or whoever.
The person who gets put into that position to reveal or not reveal the information that would, do the things it would do, is basically putting that person in a position to play God, And
yeah.
You see it in so many different, gimmicky movies where if you put any person into that role, it's subjective to the person in that role. They'll all have a different take on it and they'll look at it differently, They might all find different reasons to not want to reveal it, or they could all, it depends. They could just be scumbags, all of them. Or they could just be like, oh, well, they shouldn't know because of some reason, And Zach mentioned earlier, maybe there's some sort of horrible, deeper meaning we don't know yet that they, it's preventing them from revealing it.
Oh, yeah, I kind of am going off of that theory that there's some horrible secret, because the way he said it, the way Rod was explaining it was that any one of them at any time could have chosen to reveal the truth about what had come beforehand and the things that we haven't really figured out just yet or been told yet in the story. But every single one of them chose not to. The only reason I can see why that would happen is if there was some benefit to be gained by it. And the only thing I can think of is that there's something terrible out there, or there's some horrible dark secret that,
I kind of wonder if it's not just that these two, the last two at least, have all been really close to Rod. Could it just be Rod's influence over them that he just convinced them not to for the sake of the, quote-unquote peace?
It's very possible.
One thing I want to bring up here is Kenny's grandfather's specific words were, I'm of the generation after we entered the walls.
Right.
Which means that, though before I've argued that for all we know, it's been 1,000 years since the walls were built and they've just mind-wiped over and over, the Ackermans are immune to mind wipes, which means 104 years we can assume is indeed accurate. Which means there have only been 3 or 4 generations here. So there haven't been that many Rice predecessors, but Rod isn't that old, so he only had control over 2 or 3 of them.
Oh, I can't, if they moved inside the walls after that, during that generation, I wonder, the history for that is gone forever, just because it was erased, but I wonder what else is out there based off of that dialogue, Because that would imply that they moved in from somewhere, but are there still people back in wherever they came from?
Yes. Reiner, Berthold.
Well, I mean, yeah, but, humanity.
Large populations of humanity. I think it would all depend on when exactly the Titans arrived. Do we know? I don't think we know that yet. And it would be really curious to see, has this been going on for even multiple generations previous to the wall's creation? Or was it oh, crap, we have to create this wall really quickly because the Titans are here, and we have to...
Do you remember, Scotty, that it was the God Titan that created the walls?
I was about to say, Grandpa Ackerman did say in this chapter also that the power of the Titans was used to create the walls that he made.
Well, we already knew that from what Rod said about how they were created in this last chapter.
Whoever God Titan is. But still.
What was there... This is going out on a pretty far limb, but God Titan, as we saw in the last chapter... where the hell is that Titan?
Dead.
Or is that possibly
Monkey Trouble?
Monkey Trouble?
Yeah.
Could it be monkey business?
I think there was some discussion over whether it was MT, and I think the conclusion was no, because the silhouette we saw was far bigger.
Okay.
And just the beard and everything was different. And the fact that it was the original coordinate user tells me that it's dead and
The power was transferred.
Transferred, yeah.
Like maybe
yes.
like maybe Monkey Trouble is a descendant of the God Titan.
Perhaps, or maybe of the same breed.
Remember, we just learned though, you don't have to kill someone to take their power. You just have to drink the spinal fluid.
Sure.
So you can take the power of a Titan without killing it. So could Monkey Trouble, or not Monkey Trouble, could the God Titan potentially be alive, even though his power was passed down?
I'm going to go back to 64 and see specifically what they say.
One of the other speculation things about this chapter that I liked was the new science look into it, where they actually specified the spinal fluid, where people are going, hey, just put a needle in there and pull some of that out. And we could start doing some science on this.
And then we have the Eren farm curing the Titans.
That's right.
Like a goddamn cow.
Let's just science the rest of these problems away.
Why do you gotta eat these people? Just do a spinal tap. I mean, it's gonna suck, but it's a lot better than getting eaten. I mean,
I don't think you'd even need to do a full-on spinal tap. You could just probably take the needle Historia's using, empty it out, jab it into Eren, and you've got blood and spinal fluid.
Yeah. It's better than getting eaten. That's all I'm saying.
Anesthesia, please.
And the thought that goes with that is, of course, Hanji isn't here when they're talking about this. You know,
of course. Like I said, there's a reason that they took out the science character.
Both of them, both Hanji and Armin, are both gone from this.
Yeah.
I was talking about this with Memos, my friend, who actually was the first one to introduce me to Attack on Titan back in 2013, and right when it was coming out. Right when the anime was coming out, and she was saying that she really wished that Armin was in this chapter because he would probably literally take less than 30 seconds to utterly demolish everything that Rod had been saying in front of Historia and just completely trash every argument he could make and just shut him down basically.
And then you'd have a field day with that in the anime.
Oh, dude. I'm going to have a field day with so many things. You have no idea. There's so many things that it's really bad. Sometimes I just read the manga and I'm like, oh my god, this is going to be terrible when I get my hands on this.
And by terrible, you mean perfect.
Yes. But yeah.
I was going to say, Armin in this situation would just be like, alright, I'm going to take the spinal fluid with your needle, I'm going to throw it over there, you turn into a Titan, get that needle, we're gonna leave. This situation could be solved in 10 seconds.
Doggy.
Yeah, literally, here, just follow this with your eyes, now go find that, turn to a Titan, do what you need to do, we're just gonna leave. And then everything's gonna be solved. But instead we have to have this fabricated drama, Kenny's fight to the death, it's both of you, because no one here can find out an idea that's better than this. It's oh, really?
Yeah, they don't need to be fighting. No one in the caverns needs to be fighting right now. No one needs to be in conflict.
And then Kenny's like, fuck that, we're gonna make this Thunderdome.
Yeah.
I respect him for that, but
I always respect Thunderdome.
That's right.
Oh yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
and Kitty gets all the respect for that. He got so many points for that. So many people were just like, yeah, turn this into a fight. That's cool.
Alright, I found the page with the God Titan. And it definitely doesn't look like Monkey Trouble. Its teeth and its hair look a lot like Ymir's Titan, but it's way too big for that. I think it's almost about the same size as Bertholdt's Titan.
I don't think we've met God Titan, and I'm pretty sure we won't have, even towards the end of this series.
Yeah, we might see him through flashbacks. And,
it's possible that he could just be a historical figure, you know?
Yeah.
We just might never actually meet him.
For sure, yeah. That's actually what I would put my bet on. Exactly. Almost identical to him.
I want there to be an Abraham Lincoln Titan, just coming through.
After Freddie Mercury, it was all right, well, let's make this the epic, historical battle titans of whatever.
Yeah, man.
Epic Titan battles of history.
There you go.
I mean, we got Monkey Trouble already. Abraham Lincoln is really not too far of a stretch when you already have Monkey Trouble just walking around what's up, I'm a straight up monkey. And also Titan, look at me.
Oh man, so many questions.
You know what?
Yeah,
The
man.
manga doesn't say anything about God Titan's fate.
I think Monkey Trouble is actually just George the Animal Steel. That's who the shifter is. No one got that reference. All right, okay.
Oh my God, he's hairy. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Anyways,
That's why.
damn.
That's why.
Oh wow.
Wow. Yeah. Oh my God. This is
That's a little too much hair.
you can't.
That's why I said it. That's why I thought that.
For those
Now I'm
of
glad
you
I'm not looking it up.
For those of you listening to this podcast right now, go to Google and type in George Steele, and you are going to see literally a Sasquatch explode out of your screen, and just like a balding, wrinkled white Sasquatch just explode out of your screen. Do a Google image search, and good luck.
Awesome. All right, so Kenny, as a character, changed a little bit in this chapter just because in the past, I think, like you said early on, Tom, he hasn't really been defined that well. He's just kind of, doing his own thing, kind of a wild card. And in this chapter, he definitely got more involved, and he definitely revealed a little bit more about himself. I never liked Kenny until this chapter. I think this is the chapter where I actually looked at Kenny and I said, you know what, maybe he's not that bad.
He struck me as a human in this chapter, whereas in the last, in the previous chapters, he was just like this, I'm Kenny, I'm fucking crazy.
Yeah, the guy walks into the bar like he's, fucking the guy from Back to the Future 3. He walks in there all crazy, but this is the chapter where he's actually showing off that he can be taken seriously as a character, and that's good.
Yeah, and I do like that in a villain. Like, I do like that you can kind of empathize with some of the things that he's saying, but at the same time, he's downright doing some pretty messed up shit.
But Isayama really does love to create characters who are just big shades of gray, just big old globs of gray paint, showing which shows off that there are a lot of characters in Attack on Titan who have gray moralities, and Attack on Titan being such a show that creates such characters with these gray moralities, it's good for, interest's sake and actually looking into character analysis. That's the only point I wanted to make with that.
Yeah, that's one thing that's really struck me about this entire universe from the beginning. It doesn't conform to the cliches that you would think it would. Like, it doesn't conform to many at all. Like, I remember, for example, way back when we were seeing Eren and John's rivalry, develop way back in training school, and I was like, oh, this is just going to follow the normal path of John becomes, the powerful guy in the military police and just lords over Eren and causes conflict later on down the road. No, actually, he ends up becoming one of Eren's pretty much trusted friends in it, or maybe not friends, but at the very least, a comrade in arms, someone that he can rely on and fight with, and he does. They
both developed so much that looking back at it, it's like that rivalry now is just petty, super, the most trivial shit ever.
Exactly, and that's how life really is. You'll have moments like those where maybe you and someone else aren't getting along, and you two don't like each other, and then, you meet up, you end up running into them a year or two down the road, and they're a completely different person, and you are too. And you know what? You guys actually vibe well right now. Except that they're a Titan, and you're just still fighting. So,
To that point also.
Well, you could work with that too. You could be like, well, some people find success, and some people take longer to get there,
I would say, though, that, in this anime in particular, I give it so much props for being one of the only top-tiered popular anime/mangas that have gotten to where it is and its popularity with no bullshit, romance and, cliched, fan service. Yeah, I can't, there's no
love triangles, no
love anything, not even love.
I love that no one... There is really no love in it, and that's great.
Nobody loves anybody.
Yeah, it's
especially
a
not
show.
from Carla to Eren.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's literally just, they're all about killing Titans. And
Dolphin.
That's
And it's so realistic to, like, what it would be like. Because no one's going to be, like, petty, like, oh, I like you, kind of. Like, that's not going to happen when a Titan just ate your best friend 2 days ago.
It did exist.
You know?
It existed in the first season with Franz and Hana, and it died there with them.
It died there with
It
It
was
does kind of
symbolic.
still exist with Aaron and John, I'd say, actually.
You got to get out of here.
There was that one guy during the expedition. They had that little leader guy for their formation who really liked his horse a lot.
Bronies and Attack on Titan.
You remember the guy?
Oh, no.
He named his
I
horse
remember.
Charlotte, I think.
Charlotte.
Whatever it was.
Charlotte.
Charlotte's Web?
That guy loved his horse a lot.
And just like the spider, the horse died.
Oh, no, what?
Didn't they both die?
They both died.
Yeah. Let's take a minute and talk about Eren. I don't think we've talked about Eren enough yet. His dialogue in this chapter took everyone, I think, a little by surprise. I think people don't know what to make of Eren right now. Some people are like, man, what a coward he turned into. I hope he does die. Some people are like, if he dies, I'm dropping the show. Some people are like, well, this will be the moment where he has his, like, triumphant, main character shtick. Or some people are like, oh, well, maybe it's a good thing that he's going to die here. People are all over the place.
Usually I would say that, like, the main character dying is, like, never gonna happen. Like, someone's plot armor. But then you gotta think, like Zach pointed out, Eren hasn't talked in, like, a year. So, literally, they don't need him.
You've been downgraded.
Yeah, they don't need him to ride out the show. Like, they've proven that people will continually be intrigued and watch, even without his presence. So, could he die? I don't think he will, but the chance is still there, and it's more present than I ever thought it could be, which is scary.
So what are you guys expecting from Eren next chapter?
I think his built-in Tatakau instinct is gonna kick in, and
He'll probably see his friends. Yeah,
he's gonna explode into a pile of steam and Titan.
Something tells me that like when he sees his friends fighting and dying for him or something like that, he'll. I kind of worry/fear that one major person is gonna kind of bite the dust in front of him, and that's what's
This
going.
is the perfect opportunity for Isayama to kill off Sasha and Connie.
Connie's not dying. Get out of
Okay,
your
maybe
head.
not Connie, but we all know he hates Sasha, and he meant for her to die already.
Yeah, I'm worried about Sasha's longevity in the series. Like,
Maybe she should just wait outside.
yeah, Sasha, just stay back.
The
John doesn't really have much going for him either.
The impression right now seems to be that either Historia is going to die or Eren is going to die.
I
don't
get
think it's that bad.
one of them. I kind of feel that one of them is going to have to. How else are they going to settle the conflict? Like, we've got Historia as a Titan who's going to be eating everything in sight because she's just transformed into this Titan and can't control herself. And then we've got Eren who could potentially turn into a Titan. Once those two forces are at play,
Well, I'm not sure how much of a mindless Titan she is right now. We saw that when Frida turned into a Titan, she just immediately beelined for Uli. I'm assuming that Uli and Grandpa were one and the same. But she didn't go for Rod or anyone, and they weren't too far away from her.
Well,
so she could just beeline for Eren.
We didn't get that much of a look at what, came out of that transformation sequence, other than that she was transforming. But
Well, she was standing at the base of the altar. He was chained up. The Rices were, 50 feet behind her. She transformed, ate him, detransformed, and that was that.
say that. I would probably stand a little bit further back than 50 feet.
You saw what Kenny did. Kenny said, fuck this, I'm getting out of here.
That was a moment where I'm like, Kenny, you smart bastard. Like,
Yep.
That's exactly what I would be doing too. I'm out.
He knows.
I hope he went to tell his team to stand down, otherwise the Survey Corps could still be in some more trouble.
I think it seems easy to me to think, oh, well, Mikasa's just going to come in and cut the chains, take Eren and leave. You know?
No, I don't think so.
But the problem with that is that if they escape with Eren and just don't do anything with Historia, that would be a huge problem, you know?
Because then they've got a mindless Titan within the walls.
Well, not
I
only
think
that, but we have a Titan injected with the magic juice that God
The
gave
magic juice. Wow.
whatever. Yeah, he specifically picked.
the most powerful fighting Titan.
He picked specifically that injection for what.
I'm very excited to see the form that this Titan takes.
Well, we kind of saw it, and
a little bit. It seems
I'm so happy you said that, because there was something I was wanting to bring up. That there was a thread posted on the subreddit, mentioned it in the rewatch thread, that the Titan that we've seen so far looks basically the same as the Titan we saw before episode 1 that killed Moses and the rest of the Survey Corps.
And he was basically looking at him. He was like the bland, placeholder. Draw your Titan here.
Well, I've always thought he looked really
featureless
different from the other Titans.
He was featureless.
Weird.
He was like a bald, had no anything special about him at all. But he wasn't supposed to be, because he was just the first one.
But no, there was only one, and he was specifically named as the target by Shadis.
Well, yeah, the target that they needed to kill in the first episode, just, to get back to the thing.
Yeah, and then they're all wiped out by it.
Yeah. Well,
so
maybe they're just not that good.
It could be just sheer basic incompetence.
It could be.
Definitely could be.
Well, Moses was in a squad with Erwin and Hanji, and I'm not sure if Levi, but Erwin, Hanji, and Mike, at least.
It's funny, Eren named off all of those characters that everyone else forgot about. He could have added Moses to that list. He was there. Yeah,
where was Moses? In that
all
list?
Eren knows about Moses is he was an arm.
It's like he picked out, the first couple of people who first got access to the kitchen for our kitchen character list.
Yeah.
Yeah, because those are his fellow trainees who he lived with for 4 years, just like Historia.
Technically, wouldn't Moses' arm be the first, death that he's really seen? I mean, yeah, he didn't see the death of this person, but he saw their arm, basically.
He saw the impact of it.
I'm sure he's seen the Survey Corps come back many times.
Well, he was always the one who stood out in the crowd and said, yeah, they're, even though they're losing, they're still fighting, and they're still
that's right.
not giving up and all that, and yada.
Yeah. Oh, Eren. Always stuff. One thing I wanted to know was, talking about how this chapter was full of character moments, Eren had a huge character shift in this. It was kind of shocking. Here's this character who, for the past how many chapters, has been just completely stubborn-headed, always just trying to kill Titans, always trying to push out and explore the world, and always fighting. And here we've seen this character, he's given up at this point. He's completely broken down, and he's just given up all fighting spirit. And he's just saying, eat me at this point. He's done.
He actually said, eat me too. That's awesome.
He literally said that.
Yeah.
And that was something that is completely not like Eren at all. It's kind of interesting how broken he is now at this point in the series. He's just he's done.
It's good. It's good for his character. That mold that people have of Eren. That's always fight the Titans, kill the Titans. I'm the main character who wants to do the main character thing and kill all the bad guys.
And I'm gonna be stubborn about it always.
Yeah. Now it's broken. Now we look at it and we're like, oh shit, this character's actually going through something.
Yeah.
Not that he never did before, but this is a clear breakaway from whatever mold people might have had him in before.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I thought that was just a huge moment in the series for Eren specifically, just to give up all hope and just say, you know what?
As far as it goes, I think it's awesome to be able to celebrate that moment for him being a main character, having such a vulnerability, having a moment like that, because when you think about main characters, you don't think about that kind of vulnerability. So I think that's good for him to stand out like that.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. It makes him seem a lot more human is all I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Right.
I was gonna say, it makes you think, out of everything that's been surrounded by him, all of this death, chaos, and it's all because of him in one way or another. His power, his coordinated abilities, everything has surrounded him. And that he sees all this and he thinks, maybe this is my opportunity to redeem myself, for redemption. In death, I can solve and atone for my sins, in a sense. And it's wow, for a character to realize this, for a character to actually feel that emotion and act upon it, and actually risk their own life and not transform and defend themselves in order to sacrifice. I mean, it's impactful, and I'm really glad that they went that direction.
Kenny was pretty shocked, too.
Yeah.
He had lined this up like it was going to be a prize fight, and he got away from it, thinking he was about to see some people throw down, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, this isn't much of a thing,
I'm wondering if he's going to try and poke and prod them into fighting somehow more. I don't know.
I thought the reason he gave up on trying to convince Historia was that he was confident that Eren was going to be able to stir something in her, and then Eren just didn't. I thought he was kind of banking on Eren and, banking on, okay, if I cut him, he'll shift and we'll be able to do this as a thing. Like, he was actually counting on Eren to do something and, was thinking of him as a sort of partner in that sense.
Well, yeah, that's why he half scalped him.
And it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
Although Eren does now have the battle blood eyes, which every character seems to require if they're going to fight in this series.
Oh, yeah, they always get bloody eyes.
That's like the best visual effect, to have that cut across his face with the blood coming down, because it's, symbolic.
Crying tears of blood.
Oh, yeah. Bloody tears, yeah. Like
the symbolism is real.
Somebody play the Castlevania theme,
Pretty interesting to see where this all is going to go, and I'm at a loss, really,
It's hard to speculate where it's going to go.
Yeah. Because it could go so many ways.
So, stepping back a minute, Eren talked about how, he was taking all the blame for it. We all thought, I don't know if all of us did, but coming into this, a lot of us thought that Rod was like the most scumbag, lying piece of shit ever, and he was just not telling the truth about anything at all, and I think he was going to get outed as a big liar. And this chapter kind of made it seem like Rod was telling the truth the whole time.
Which makes no sense.
Yeah. That's kind of weird.
Yeah. At least Rod was so determined that he pulled the knife literally out of his own mouth to tell Historia that Kenny was wrong, that there was a reason that he couldn't be allowed to transform.
Which he conveniently can't talk about.
Which he conveniently can't talk about. But still, the fact that you see the surprised look on Kenny's face as Rod literally pushes the knife out of his mouth, and I think Kenny said something like, hey, in shock and surprise. So there's something there, I feel.
It was a super important piece of dialogue that Kenny said, where he said that he knew that Rod wasn't lying because this is such an important moment. He knew that when this time came, that Rod wouldn't lie about this.
Yeah.
That's what really made it, that's what really makes us have to step back and go, man, was Rod being honest the whole time? Or is Kenny just not, seeing this like we are?
Rod may just be telling the truth, and if so, that's
I think we'd all like to think Rod's still the huge scumbag piece of shit we all want him to be, but if it's possible that Kenny's telling the truth, well, man, that would be something for Rod's character.
Well, I still feel like Rod's a piece of shit either way, though. Either way, I think Rod's still kind of a scumbag in the sense that everything Kenny said, even if everything Rod said was true, everything Kenny said was also pretty much true. So exactly. Rod still didn't give a shit about her. He only kept her around because of her bloodline, which is kind of disgusting. And the fact that, I slept with a prostitute, I cheated on my wife, I had a bastard child, and now I'm going to kill the wife. I mean, the prostitute that I slept with, which he did, right? So
that was Kenny. That was not Rod.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure Rod was the one who ordered it.
He was fine with it.
Yeah, Rod was fine with it. So, it doesn't ring the right way for me to think that Rod's gonna get a redemption story.
He's one of those characters who will sacrifice anything and everything he can to get what he wants.
Kind of like Erwin.
Yeah, kind of like Erwin.
But Erwin's much more noble.
Erwin, the good
I was going to say more like Zachary.
Yeah.
Zachary sacrificed his sanity to get whatever he wants. I mean, I think we saw that with the poo machine that he had going on.
The purging, exactly.
Yeah.
The Poopinator 5000.
Poopinator 5000.
In stores soon.
So, going back to Rod, I think the utilitarian argument is going to become a thing when we start talking about, or if we actually move forward with Rod's plan, where he did all of this and he did all these horrible things, but he can create sort of a quote-unquote peace. Is that worth really what he's doing? Because he could be saying, this thing he's doing with Historia might work out to be a thing that saves people's lives. I don't believe
already
that.
had the chance with Frida and so many other people in his own family, and it hasn't happened. I'm not going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
I don't believe it either, but I think that's going to become a thing. That argument's going to come up.
Oh, the argument will definitely come up, I believe, but or it'll be settled in a clash of titans. But
hopefully,
yeah, I'm down to see this epic battle royale happen. It's going to be great.
I think it'll happen.
Like, if we actually talk about it like a fight card, Eren has the experience. He's, been here before if he's actually willing to go into it and fight. But Historia...
But he's not.
But Historia has, like, the talent, raw, injected, purebred, genetic advantage. So I don't know who to give the favor to. If Eren were to actually, get into it and be willing to fight.
I'd say the edge will go to Eren simply because he's gonna have reinforcements coming. I feel like what's gonna happen to spark his interest again in fighting is he's gonna say, no, I'm not gonna do anything. Historia is gonna come towards Eren in her Titan form, and then she's gonna get stopped last minute by one of the other gang members, like maybe Mikasa or one of them, and then it's gonna get her attention, and she's gonna divert it from Eren to fight someone else. And then Eren's going to be like, I have to protect my friends. And that's going to be what's going to pull him into the fight.
I was thinking he was going to have that same moment where she's approaching him and he's going to start having flashbacks. Like, he's going to do that thing we saw in the first season where Armin had to pull him out, had to, convince him to get back up. I kind of feel like that's going to...
Oh, the window scene?
Yeah, I think that kind of thing's going to happen again.
Yeah, possibly.
But now that I'm thinking about it, are we just recreating... Grisha versus Frida? Like,
kind of.
Is this just that again?
Yeah, almost.
Because Eren has experience, and
you would call this like a Sins of the Father fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The sins of the father against the literal sin of the father.
I think it's an interesting. Yeah.
It's kind of interesting how both fathers making these doing these horrible deeds are now being acted out in their children.
And if there's anything Attack on Titan has established is that fathers in this universe are fucking scumbags everywhere.
Yeah.
Just like Pokemon.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's dad everywhere. It fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Whether they're experimenting on their child or they're abandoning them or whatever,
Well, I don't know. Mikasa's dad wasn't that bad.
But
For the 2 seconds that he was alive.
There's no real in between here. Either you're a fucking piece of shit or you die.
I think that's where all the good fathers went inside the walls. They all got stabbed and died. That's where all the good fathers are.
Like they all lined them up. They all
in heaven,
up,
pretty much.
Told them to join the dark side, and they all refused.
Yeah, man, that's dark.
Welcome to Attack on Titan.
That's right. The gateway to dark and horrible things.
Oh yeah, for sure.
No wonder I've been feeling more satanic recently.
Wow.
Not sure it's
I blame Tom for that one.
Yeah, well,
Some of them speeches, they get to you. You can feel them in your gut.
Yeah, you just sense Armin coming out, Dark Armin.
Right. Dark Armin.
Dark Armin rising. Yeah. Oh man.
That's like his second form.
One of his many.
Evil Armin.
Oh man, now I really want to see Armin turn into a shifter just so I could see what brilliance Tom would come up with for that.
Oh, dude, that would be the best thing. That would be literally Christmas Day for me. Just to see Armin gain that kind of power for whatever malevolent, horrible, twisted purpose he does get it for. That'd be great. I was kind of hoping that he comes in for the next chapter. Like the last we saw him, he was running to Sishanji because she just got brutally messed up. So I was kind of hoping that along the way, maybe he stabilizes Hanji and everyone else is fighting. And then he looks over and sees the corpse of one of the people in the anti-personnel squad, and he sees their gear, and he dons it, and he goes in guns blazing, dual-wielding these pistols, and Armin's just like capping people left and right. Because I would have a field day with that, but it's a bit too much to ask for, I think. It's probably not going to happen.
That would just make him the most beloved character. Like, he would instantly become the most popular character of the show.
Dude, imagine him just, like, rolling through and doing drive-bys, just like...
Drive-by!
Yeah, man.
Anything else that we need to address before we move into questions?
I don't think so.
Nothing? Okay.
Feeling good.
Alright, so let's go ahead and move into our questions for this month. First question. Do you think Kenny's sister is Historia's mother?
No, it's Levi's mom.
Yeah,
like,
it's Levi's mom.
That's how they linked. That's their way of linking all the Ackermans together in a family tree. He basically said, alright, my horse sister's in the underground and she's getting a baby. And she's an Ackerman. Woohoo. And then little cousin Timmy over here is going down Shiganshina to find some Asian chick. And they're gonna have a kid, and I think we'll name her Mikasa or something.
Or something.
That would explain I guess that would explain Levi being in the underground city, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It would.
Yeah.
That's how I pictured it, kind of. That's what I kind of saw Tiyama saying, and that I just saw him saying, hey, here's where Levi's mom was from, so.
Yeah, that's just his lazy way of connecting the dots between the three.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting. And the second part of this question is, if you had to live growing up with a character currently active in this arc, who would it be? So let's put you in the Attack on Titan universe and say, pick a character who you want to be childhood friends with. Who is it and why?
Frida would be awesome.
Based on the 3 scenes, she's awesome.
She just looks so happy.
She might be the most miserable person you've ever known, and those 3 scenes just misrepresent her completely.
Well, given the information we currently have.
Anybody else?
Awesome.
Anybody?
Actually, you got me on the Frida train now.
I think I want to hang out with Bert Holt. I want him to be my childhood friend.
What happened to currently active in this arc?
I want to know about that dynamic, between him, Reiner, and Annie.
So you're basically going to be Marcel then?
Yeah, so mine should be Eren, I think, because he's, adventurous. He seems like the type that would go into, childhood, mysteries, do things. I don't know, because everyone else kind of is bland. I think. I don't know.
Eren's that mischievous child who's going around just fucking with people.
Investigating. Yeah. That's who I'd want to be.
He had that reputation for going around picking fights with people.
He would kind of be a taxing friend to have, I think, in childhood, because you constantly be getting into fights with him, whether you wanted to or not. Yeah. But then again, he would always have your back, so that's one thing. Although his fighting prowess wasn't exactly that impressive as a kid, so.
Yep. Mikasa would pick up the slack.
Yeah. Man, I'm trying to think. You got me torn now. I was gonna say Hanji at first, just because Hanji's so freaking out there that she would be so much fun just to spend a day with, just okay, what crazy things have you done in your days of trying to figure out what goes on in the physiology of, Titans? That I would just love to just sit down and interview Hanji okay, you're batshit insane. Now tell us everything that you've done over the past few years.
Where did it start?
Point out that Eren tried that once, and I don't think he enjoyed it too much.
He didn't. But I don't know. I just see Hanji as getting up to some really fun experiments sometimes where you just have to you might catch it out of the corner of your eye walking past in a hall, and you just stop and you're just oh my god, I have to see where this goes.
Young Hanji is adorable. I think her official art has her befriending a frog or something.
A kid Hanji strikes me as a sadist who's going around
oh my god,
dissecting animals and doing all sorts of weird shit to animals to see how they react.
It could definitely go a weird direction. It could definitely be a little scary. But the other one, now you got me torn. It was going to be Hanji, but now I'm leaning towards Frida. Because think about it, man. She's got these powers to wipe the memories of people clean. Do you know how much trouble you could get up to that as kids? Like, if that was your childhood friend? Like,
well, she didn't get those powers until, like, pretty soon before Walmaria fell.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, that's right. Well, still, like, imagine that, your friend's around that time that she's got those powers, so it's like, hey, let's rob a bank.
Want to go rob a store?
Yeah.
Oh my god, your childhood is dark if that's what you're doing.
She did have that oversight from her family where you might expect a real young Frida to be proper, coming from a family like the Rices.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just can't imagine her being the type for that.
She wouldn't be too mischievous, but, like, I don't know. I think that as a childhood friend, that would be someone that would be you could get up to a lot of adventures.
Yeah,
with
if
that.
you could, if you could manipulate her, you could do whatever the hell you wanted.
Giggity.
Yeah, which isn't really what friends
Except
do,
that.
but it's not a good.
Yeah, you guys are
probably
taking
not
this.
a good friend if you're kind of using your friend to wipe the memories of other people. Shenanigans.
You guys are like, I'm gonna rob a bank with these powers. I'm gonna do whatever I want with people. It's like, oh my god, I just want to have adventures. All of you.
I was fine. I don't know. I kind of picked Birdhole just because I'm interested in that group, and like outside of the obvious, they're involved in that shit that happened to the wall. But I'm just thinking like, they're probably a normal set of kids, because it's part of it's part of all of their characters that they were normal kids before they got thrown into that shit. So they probably aren't as insane as everyone else is, except for like maybe Jean or Marco, So it wouldn't be too bad, basically.
Yeah.
Next question.
Yep.
What do you think about the possibility that the Titan transforming isn't her?
I don't think so.
That's very unlikely, if not impossible.
Like, we saw the needle poke into her skin.
Yeah.
Who else could it be?
Literally,
It's not like...
I couldn't see it being anyone else.
Yeah, the only other possibility would be Rod changes his mind and jumps underneath the needle or something.
Oh my god.
That would be awesome.
That'd actually be really cool. It does a Matrix backflip or something. Just
like he dives and knocks it out of her hand and just like falls on it.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
And then he eats Historia. That would be messed up. That would be messed up.
Oh my gosh.
Hell yeah.
And one thing that I actually did want to point out, if Historia dies, the Survey Corps' plans are kind of screwed.
Sure.
Like,
they'll just hand it over to Zackley. I think that's kind of what they've done already.
Okay. But I mean, they were kind of relying on Historia to rule, but I don't think she's
She's not rule material anymore.
Yeah, she's Titan material now. So.
Man, that cave, like them being in that cave, just like fucked with everybody's mind. Everybody's just like mentally destroyed coming out of that.
Yeah. No one's gonna have fond memories of that cave.
If they all come out of it with memories.
Oh wow! Throwing that reference in there.
Yeah, wouldn't that be something? Next question. What outcome to the present confrontation do you think would make the best story? Which version of the outcome of this do you like the best? What do you like? I guess that's a way of saying what do you want to happen? What would you prefer happen of all the different things that could happen?
I'd like to see a successful Spinal Tap and have two shifters, just because then we could have
like a shifter Mortal Kombat type of thing.
Sure, or like tag teaming. Like, okay, let's go claim Walmaria. Eren, you fight over there. Historia, you go that way. Or they could do like Titan Soccer or something.
Titan Soccer.
Just like, hey, we're bored today. Let's just go out in the field, shift, and just kick a boulder around.
I would. The best outcome I could see is if, like how I said it would start, the friends would come in, Eren would transform to protect them, and then Eren and the friends defeat Historia, but before she gets annihilated, Eren comes and protects her, and then they just make her de-transform, either by time or just they restrain her, and she eventually just calms down, and then they take her, and then everyone's fine. I mean, maybe some casualties in the capturing of her, but beyond that, I feel like there's definitely a way to make it so that she can come out alive, and so can Eren. Because we already know that Eren, when he tried to finish off Annie. Like, he restrained himself. So we already know that's possible. And
but
we also
still got
know,
suicidal Eren to deal with then.
right, but I mean, he's not gonna. I don't think that's gonna happen.
Brave
I don't think
new
he
world.
commits suicide.
Armin will give him Prozac. He'll be all right.
Yeah, Armin's got his back.
Yeah. Man, I don't know. Like, I think the best outcome in terms of character happiness would be if Krista just turns into the Titan, or Historia turns into the Titan and just eats Rod instead. But that would be really funny. That would be if she does end up eating Rod, I'm gonna laugh for days because that's just gonna be so ironic. But
you know what? I think that's actually possible because for the longest time we thought that Historia was just playing along and acting and saying the right thing so that Rod was convinced that she was doing what she was supposed to do. This could be her actually. Well, no, she's going to be mindless, so why would she do that? I was going to say she's like, turning on Rod by playing him the fool, but if she's going to...
I don't think so, because even when he had a knife down his goddamn throat, she was still playing along.
Well, she might not have been convinced that Kenny would have done it, but regardless, Historia is going to be mindless, so she's not going to be able to control what she does. If you want to go that route, then you could also say that because she's mindless, the possibility does exist that she'll just grab Rod right away.
Imagine if that happened, actually. The reason Rod can't do it is because he's already a shifter. So he doesn't want to waste a valuable shifter by just eating it himself, or eating Eren himself, which means that
Historia would just become a normal shifter.
Yeah, Historia will become a shifter, and posthumous, I guess he was a shifter. Great. Thanks, Daddy.
Yeah. That'd be interesting. I'd like to see that.
Because that also explains the why he can't do it himself thing.
I do like Scotty's answer also, but I was thinking I would not object to seeing Eren die. If Eren died, I would be okay with that.
I wouldn't really either. But then Historia would die too, because Mikasa would not.
That's just... yeah, okay. You know what? On second thought, maybe I'll just stick with those previous two answers, because Mikasa's not going to be happy if Eren dies.
Yeah, she's going to go homicidal and just kill everyone in that cavern if Eren dies. Yeah. Like, that's just going to become a cavern of death. So... Yeah.
Kenny, dead.
If the cavern wasn't bad
Historia,
enough.
Dead.
I mean, it already is a cavern of death, but it's going to become a cavern of super death. Like, it's just going to... It's going to
make
be cursed.
Death.
Yeah, it'll be cursed.
Cave Game of Thrones.
Oh my god. Yeah. The cave will become Symphony of Destruction.
Symphony of Destruction. That's awesome.
Oh, it would be so cool.
I'm kind of interested to see, though, what if Historia died? I think that would take the story in some very... interesting directions, because that's something they hadn't quite planned for or expected, and if that happens, like...
True, that would just, like, fuck with everybody.
That's gonna change... That's gonna really, like... Yeah, that's gonna really throw a wrench in pretty much everyone's plans at this point, because everyone has a plan for Historia. They want to use her one way or another, but what if she just up and dies in the battle?
And if it happens that way, I think it should be Mikasa who kills her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want Historia to die, but you know what? That's a good point. That would be really interesting for the story.
It would, yeah, I don't want her to die either, but at the same time, it would open up a lot of really interesting conflicts, like, oh shit, what do we do now? And we see what they have to do to solve it.
That would be a good development. I like it. Anybody else? No? Okay.
I wonder, since you just need the spinal fluid, would it be possible for Historia to eat Eren's bottom half and then have him regen that if they were able to stop the bleeding? Or is it any damage at all to the spine causes them to die? I don't think so, based on the fact that it has to be the nape that's...
It's the spinal fluid, so I guess as long as the shifter has spinal fluid, they should be okay. But if you have to digest the spinal fluid, how are you going to eat him without removing that?
Well, that's what I was saying. If you eat his bottom half, then you've got, like, a tiny bit of his spine mixed in that salad. If you rip his spine in half,
and I love that we're talking about like this. If you rip his if you rip his spine in half, how are you going to be able to contain the fluid so that he doesn't just run out of it and not be able to regenerate?
Well, it's not like a fountain. I think it's just like...
Wouldn't it be? Like, wouldn't his guts just splatter everywhere?
And that's why I was saying if you can contain the bleeding long enough for the shifter regen to take over, because then he'll just be like an amputee. He'll just have a rounded bottom. like we saw with his arms.
As far as that goes, is Eren in that state going to be able to focus on regen?
It's an automatic.
Is it? Is he experienced enough to be able to focus that like he needs to?
Well, it's an automatic thing, though. It's not like when he was knocked out post-Reiner Berthold fight, his arms are still regenning.
With Annie, she did have the ability to control that to specific parts of her body, and that it might just be
Annie can get hard, too, and Eren can't.
Yeah, well, it might just be a thing that Eren's just not experienced enough to be able to use it like he needs to.
We all remember that Easter egg in the anime where we could see steam coming from Eren's head in the training days, right?
Right.
He didn't know he was a shifter, and yet he was still regenerating.
True, but his innate ability might not be enough.
Yeah, but now we're getting too much into the what if. I mean, it's just a hypothetical, so I think for that we can assume that it would be enough. Because we can go on all day saying it may not be enough. Well, that's true, but then there's no point of any hypothetical at that point.
Well, the original question was if it was possible for him to regen if the spine was bitten at that point.
I think it would be.
And if you want to go that route, you can just say, well, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it's possible. And also, like, do we know that shifters need spinal fluid? We know that they can't have the spine or the nape of the neck cut, but do we necessarily know that they need to have the fluid to live?
Well, isn't it assumed that cutting the neck is actually cutting into the spine and releasing the fluid?
No, it's cutting the brainstem.
Cutting off the spinal fluid. Okay, so they need both to A, have spinal fluid, and B, have it connected to the brain. We're doing some science here, guys.
Oh yeah, well we are. Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting.
For sure. Yeah.
Good points, at least, raised about that.
We're doing Hanji's work for her.
That's right.
I know,
Yep.
seriously.
She's like, you gotta do it.
She's lying down on the job right now, currently.
Someone's got
too soon.
So lazy.
Someone's got to.
Yeah.
Next question. So, the Ackermanlets are basically confirmed to be superheroes. What struck me as interesting, however, was they mingled with the Asians and formed a half-Asian, half-ambiguously European race. What's up with that?
Well, that race is just a single Mikasa. It's not a race unless she...
Mikasa.
It's not a race
as opposed to many Mikasas.
That's right.
It's more of her kind
the race
or
of Mikasas.
asexually reproduces. I think that's like saying that if I take an Asian woman and breed her with a black man...
I'm afraid where this is going.
Then that's a unique race all in itself. It's not really. It's just a mixed-race baby. That being said, I
never thought we would talk about mixed-race babies when I signed up for this podcast.
I mean, it seems pretty commonplace. I mean, of course that conversation's going to come up. You know?
Of course.
Yeah, I mean,
We'll talk about
what do you do in your free time? Gosh.
Dude, I don't know. Make fucked up anime parodies.
I do want to disagree with the notion that it's like superpower, because I'm not sure if it was you, Stiller, or the question did use the word genetic. To me, it's more like a built-in genetic resistance to a disease, like HIV/AIDS or something. Some people are naturally more resistant to it than others. I think it's the same way with the mind wipes.
I didn't add to it. I read that verbatim.
Okay.
But if I was going to comment on it, like, you're looking at it from the specific detail point of it, whereas that guy and me sometimes are looking at it from the point of, oh, well, it's just a cheap excuse so that the most popular character can do the cool things, you know?
You do have to remember, though, that this is all planned out from the very beginning of the series.
That doesn't make it any less. That makes it, like, that's still as cliche as it was before. Next question. Tom, did you have a comment on that?
Oh, I'm just inclined to agree with you on that one still.
With me or with...
Yeah, with you.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
For once, I want one pro-mind white person on this podcast, just for once.
Next question. Do you think that Rod is a Titan shifter?
I think if Rod was a Titan shifter, he would have used his powers to save his children when they were being killed in front of him.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Something about that entire scene is still just wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. He just runs instead.
And it's still odd him being the only person who knows anything about it, you know? It's sketchy as fuck.
And also, if you want to believe, like, at the very minimum that he may be, even if he was running away, why wouldn't you run as a Titan, which is clearly faster?
Because then you'll be seen by someone.
So? What are they gonna do? They're gonna fight you? You're a Titan. You'll kill them. Like,
They'll start a panic. Oh my god, there's Titans in the walls! Run!
He's like in a foresty area, isn't he? Isn't the church like around like farm area? So I'm pretty sure it's not like
be abandoned place. That is true.
Yeah.
Okay then. Do you think Rod is telling the truth that the power Eren has in him from Frida can only be used by a Rice? So is he lying, and can anyone actually just use that power if they...
I think it is a Rice-only thing, but I also think that Eren's actually a Rice.
I think that he's going to be proven wrong.
At least on a couple of different levels.
Yeah, that Rice is not... it doesn't have to be a Rice thing, that other people can use it. I don't know. I find it hard for... Isayama strikes me as a pretty, progressively minded dude. So to have him like set up a world where only one bloodline can do certain things, like I have a feeling he would really want to try to
get away from that play.
I think he'd want to break that notion, kind of. So maybe he's setting it up to break it. I don't know.
Tom, I hope you're right that he's going to break the notion. I hope that's what he's planning to do.
Yeah. Because it'd be kind of sad if, like, no, you do have to have a Rice only, and nothing else can ever be changed because only Rices can change things. That would be kind of a bleak kind of future, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think about it, like, how many? There've only been 3 to 4 other Rices who have had this power. Have they ever tried to give it to somebody else? Like, what is the background for this knowledge? Oh, only Rices can. It's like, well, like, did you test it out? No, but we know. It's like, how do you know? There's no justification.
Oh, because Isayama told us so.
Yeah, I don't like
Well, the God Titan told us so.
I think that's what Tom was saying, though, that Isayama was more progressive than that. I don't think he'd go down the line of, Isayama told us, therefore it's true.
Mm.
Because that's like a common trope. It's just like, oh, wow, so something's true because you said it. Like, thanks, Mom.
Also,
Issa Mama.
Do you like the idea of Ymir returning and offering herself to revert Historia back into a human?
No.
We need some sort of explanation for how she got there.
How many entrances are there into this cavern? Like, it can't be...
It seems like that would be too, like, they're literally in the heat of battle. I don't really see her just straddling up like, hey, what's up, everybody?
Like, why would Ymir know that this, like, where this is happening and how to get there?
Exactly.
It's not. I don't think it's very likely. As as interesting possibility as it could be if we introduce that to the scenario. We need more information about Ymir's backstory. We need more information about her character. That's hopefully going to be explained later on. So this isn't a good place for her to die, I don't think.
Yeah, she still has a story to tell, for sure.
With the way the pacing turned out for this arc, where do you think this end of the second season of the anime will be? Where is it going to cut off, basically?
Imagine if it was this chapter, right where...
Oh, no.
Where Historia stabs herself and turns into a Titan.
I don't see it.
See you in 3 weeks!
Yeah. You mean it might be 3 years after the fucking season ends.
Hopefully they'll realize after season 2 success... inevitable success that they can continue it without break.
Can you imagine if season 2 ended on a cliffhanger and we didn't see season 3 for as long as it's been? It's like,
oh no.
That would be the worst.
That would be horrible.
Do you think there could be a connection between Armin's grandfather and the Ackermans?
Nah.
No.
Nah, not really.
I don't know. Like, why Armin's grandfather in particular? Did he say something?
He has no relevance to anything.
Yeah, there's nothing to indicate that, right? There's never been anything that he said or did that would indicate he had some connection to the Ackermans.
Like, even if he did, I would feel like that's interesting, mildly interesting.
Mild interest.
Yeah, it's nothing. It's like, oh, okay.
Okay.
It's cool.
Next question's gonna be a fucking doozy. I don't know if you're ready for this. What characters would make the best and worst protagonists in a Disney musical?
Oh, damn.
This one's going to throw us for a loop. I love it.
Wow, that's a hard one.
Perfect.
This is the type of question I love.
I love this kind of question.
But I also hate because I can't answer it.
So I think I'm going to go with the best. This is going to be surprising, Scotty. The best is probably Connie.
Boom. Right there.
He is a cartoon character when you look at it. Like, he already looks like one.
I think he's the most animated, and I think he's the most energetic when he wants to be. I think he would be the best at a Disney musical. I don't know about his singing talents. but
Beautiful.
I think he.
Levi or Mikasa would probably be the worst.
Yeah,
then.
I was gonna say Mikasa would be the worst, but
No, I got one worse than that, John.
Really?
John would just be a sourpuss the entire time.
Nah.
Or,
I was gonna say Annie would be a sourpuss.
well, Annie would be a sourpuss. That is true.
I'm sticking with Connie Mikasa.
I gotta go with Connie for best. Still deciding on worst.
You know what? Sasha would be a good one.
Yeah, Sasha and Connie together. Those two, when they're together, do magical things.
Yep. Ooh, like the Disney musical, it could be like Beauty and the Beast between the two of them.
Oh no.
Connie's actually a Titan shifter.
Yes.
And he's just
Dreams
in Titan
realized.
form the whole musical.
Connie's Titan form is actually him, but at him being the size of a normal human adult. That's his Titan form.
Pretty good. Oh shit. Now what's the worst here? Mikasa as Snow White?
Mikasa and Levi would be pretty shitty.
Thinking Mikasa as Snow White. That's gonna be my answer.
As Snow White? Oh no.
Yep.
How
do
she
we
would
think
just kill the huntsman, and then she would kill the evil queen.
She would just kill all
She
the
just
people that
actually
and then
went through the whole thing.
It would be
Yeah,
like the
and-
shortest thing ever.
And then the dwarves would come over, and she would just be all depressed and shit, and they'd be like, wow, this person is really dark, and then they go
We're
away.
gonna go.
And let's not forget, this is supposed to be a musical, so they're singing the whole time.
Well, yeah, but Mikasa wouldn't be singing, she'd just be killing, and the dwarves would be singing around her until they see that she's just killing. she just kills. Like, that is what she does. She is a killing machine.
Oh my god.
She's
Mikasa
awesome at it,
as
but...
Goldilocks.
Ooh.
Oh god, that'd be great.
Yeah, that's
The
pretty
bears
good.
come in, get out of our house.
She kills
House
them.
now.
She kills them like how she did in the anime, where she just runs forward, breaks through their floorboards with her foot, and stabs them through the heart.
With the porridge bowl.
Now,
Oof.
it would
With
be
a porridge
bad.
spoon.
It would be a bad musical, but that would probably be the most awesome thing.
Dude, I would love to make that musical happen. Like Mikasa annihilating the three bears. Like, this is her house now. Sorry, bears.
This is my swamp.
Awesome.
Eviction notices served.
Zach, what was your best?
I agreed with Connie and Sasha.
Okay. Scotty, what was your answer?
I agree with Connie. I don't know who I think would be the worst though.
Annie would actually probably be pretty bad too.
I think so.
What do we think about Historia? Would she be good, bad?
She
As
would.
Krista, she'd be like
She'd be perfect.
she is Snow White.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking she's
then-
like Sleeping Beauty.
I don't really remember Sleeping Beauty, but I know Snow White's all the la 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 la, I love birds or whatever the fuck.
Identical. That's
Yeah.
basically a play-by-play.
I don't remember exactly, but I feel like there's a scene of them singing with animals in like every single Disney movie.
Yeah.
Almost.
Contractually required.
Yeah. So, Scott, you were Historia for worst?
No, I was just questioning. I guess I go with the Mikasa. I agree would be pretty atrocious.
Okay.
So I'll go with her.
And your best was Connie?
Mhm.
Okay. Tom, you were worst Jean, best.
Actually, I've changed my mind on that. Best is Connie, for sure. Worst, between Annie or Ymir.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it would be pretty bad.
Ymir would be a pretty downer. Like, she would just, if she was a hero of a musical, she'd just be treating people like shit the entire time and never change. Like,
Yeah.
So I think Ymir would be in Lady and the Tramp.
As the friend.
It would fit in.
she would be the tramp.
I don't know.
Okay, Ben Chandler, please don't kill us. We're speaking purely hypothetically here.
It's just hypothetically, guys. We're just hypothetically.
I don't know. I think we've actually made some blockbusters here.
I think that would be great. Like, Ymir and Krista sitting down to nice spaghetti dinner.
Right.
And just romantic music plays and they're eating spaghetti. Just like Lady and the Tramp and,
Perfect.
Yeah. There you go, Disney. Take all these ideas. I'm
You're
sure
welcome.
You're welcome, Disney.
That'll be the next remastered edition out of the vault.
Maybe now we can get a good live action Attack on Titan movie.
No, I'm sure that Disney would probably lock that deep away in the vault and never let it see the light of day.
Oh yeah, they'd burn it.
Burn it.
They probably play in the break room.
Yeah.
Maybe. All right, next question.
Awesome question, though. Good one.
Who submitted that one?
Alney the Silent.
I'll know.
Next question is, would it be possible that Eren saw the same history of the Walled Society that Frida and Yuri saw when they had the coordinate?
Yeah. But I don't think he's unlocked it at this point in time. Otherwise, he'd talk about it instead of going, eat me!
Like, he hasn't talked a lot yet, so I'm not even sure, like, do we know that he fully even, like, got all the information together that he saw? Like, does he even get it?
I don't know.
I think if he had any additional information, he'd lay it on the table.
Yeah.
That, or he's just like, it doesn't matter because I'm worthless.
Maybe.
But even
So
Eren, I think, is smart enough. I think Eren's smart enough to be like, if I have some information here, I'm gonna cough it up. Like, I'm not gonna just be like, eat me. So.
Eat me, bitch.
Aaron's doing that thing right now where we could cue the song for How Could This Happen to Me? I think it's a Simple Plan song. Would that also explain his recent change in attitude about the outside world? So, him being like he is right now, what happened to his drive for the outside world?
It doesn't matter. His dad was a dick.
He had a memory of he had a first-hand POV memory of his dad killing people. So I think that'll kill your drive for a lot of things if you go through that. Like,
yeah,
I really don't see you, and then him eating his dad, like, to top that off. So
I think that one's the kicker.
Dude, I think if I had like a flashback memory like that, I'd say fuck everything. Like,
yeah,
like it would just, dude, that would be, that'd be pretty soul crushing. So. I don't think he's lost his drive to explore the outside world so much that he's been rocked by one of the most, if not the most traumatic life experience that you could have.
It's possibly the worst thing that could have happened to him.
Yeah,
kind of crushed his
someone
purpose.
Who's been eaten by a titan, literally.
Yeah, he's been places. He's seen things.
Yeah, he's come back from it a couple times already, so it's a question of if he can do it again. How do you think Eren will get his resolve back, which we just talked about?
Song and dance number.
Disney musical.
Don't let some shitty memory get you down, Eren. I know you've still got it in you, Eren.
Oh my god.
If you believe, you can achieve anything that your heart desires.
Oh my god. Like if this turned into Peter Pan all of a sudden.
I'm sorry, I'm fucking doing it with a slap on Titan. There's going to be a musical episode. You heard it here first. It's going to be a musical episode. I don't know when it's going to happen. It's probably not going to be in season 2.
You need to turn one of the fight scenes between Annie and Eren into a rap battle.
That was actually a very, very early idea. I can't tell you whether or not that'll be incorporated, but yeah. But I mean, how will he get his resolve back? The only thing I could see bringing his resolve back is if his friends are in danger.
Maybe if he unlocks a couple additional memories.
Maybe that too, yeah.
I like to think that, going back to the last question, he remembers his purpose, like what he wanted to do, what he wanted to achieve, and that's enough to, give him his drive back. Hopefully, if, I just kind of hope he rebounds, because, do it.
Good enough.
Next question. Do you think the CMPs and Scouting Legion will team up now that Kenny has betrayed Rod?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Except that no one so far has really seen what's been going down. The military police inside the cavern have been busy fighting off the Survey Corps people, so...
Yeah, but
meanwhile...
They're all extremely loyal to Kenny, so if he just says, okay, guys, they're cool, then, okay, guys, they're cool.
But
regardless...
I don't know if he's there yet. He just wants to see them fight.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Regardless, the CMPs are under control of the Scouting Legion right now because they took their capital by force.
Well, I think the question's asking about the CMPs in the cave.
Oh, so Squad Kenny, or Squad not Andy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay, that response that you gave is good. Next question. What do you think is going to make up the upcoming fight next chapter? Difficult for our protags.
Mikasa.
I mean...
What's going to make it... Okay, so the fight next chapter, what's going to make it difficult for Eren and Historia? I guess that's...
Mikasa.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah.
I'm just interested to see if she just goes in and she just, like, her eyes turn red and she just freaks out and just goes berserk, you know? I don't know.
Yeah.
Just over in one slash. Fuck you!
I also...
wow.
Okay, where's Historia? That was Historia.
Yeah, right.
I'm kind of interested to see the role that the anti-personnel squad plays in here, because don't count them out just yet. I mean, Kenny's lieutenant, I forget her name, but she just took out Hanji, and Hanji is a very skilled and competent warrior. You know, she knows what she's doing. She's kind of crazy, but you know, at the end of the day, this is someone who has been, you know, trained on and has been fighting in the Survey Corps, and she has the skill of a Survey Corps person, and this girl just took her out.
I think it is pretty cool that not Annie, for not having a name, actually did manage to do a cool thing.
I think that it's likely that, like I said before, they'll probably just loop back around and say, hey, Kenny, what should we do now? And then he'll say, the Survey Corps are cool, stand down for now.
Okay, next question. And I'm reading this verbatim. This is just what the question says, so don't...
This tells me it's going to be a fucked up question.
Don't yell at me for this, because it's not my fault.
Nervous.
Do you think Mikasa's double special bloodline revelation is a step towards character development, or a cop-out to give her superpowers?
Cop-out.
Yeah, that's a cop-out.
Cop-out.
It's not a cop-out if it's planned from the beginning. I give up. Fuck it. Next question.
You can plan a cop-out. It's not like, those aren't two exclusive things.
It's not mutually exclusive.
Yeah, it's not mutually exclusive. If he just, in the very beginning, got lazy and was like, I mean, I don't know in this writing process how I'm going to give her and explain these powers in a way that makes sense and like how she earned them, so I'm just going to give it to her. Like, that's a cop-out, but...
I think we're good on that question.
Yep.
So, this is the last question we have, but it's also a doozy. This is going to be fun. So, imagine that you're taking a road trip across the United States, coast to coast, and you have to take 3 characters. Who do you pick? 3 characters. Let's see.
I'm definitely taking Connie, because he's just fun. I think I might take Eren as well, because he still is fun and seems like he'd be up for, like, adventures and such.
God, I don't know.
And then the third person...
My first instinct was to say Reiner, Bertholdt, and Annie, just so we could, like, destroy every single city in our path.
I don't think you'd have the powers. This is like U.S. coast to coast, so it's our world. Yeah. So I don't think they'd have their powers.
No. Well, I mean, even if they did have their powers, it's not enough.
Is that enough to make it fun?
I mean, I don't know. This is tough.
I think Hanji, Erwin, and maybe Sasha.
Except that Sasha would eat all your food on the trip. Like, you can't pack anything.
I was thinking Sasha too, but that's a good point.
And she'd be constantly asking to pull over or stop at this restaurant or that restaurant. It'd be bad, dude.
Being limited to 3 makes it difficult.
Yeah.
Making us have to take 3 is the hard part for me.
Well, I mean, I guess it doesn't say that you can't take less, so if you wanted to take 1 or 2, that's fine.
Okay, yeah, we'll take Sasha, but we'll kill her right away.
What kind of road trip do you take? Holy crap.
At least 1 sacrifice, or if it's not a successful road trip otherwise.
It's not satanic road trip.
Well, yeah, I was about to say, his road trip must have some sort of purpose behind it.
There's a goal at the end of that road trip. Dear God.
God, I don't know, man. I don't know what characters would be up for a road trip. What characters can just
it doesn't matter, they're coming.
Can just drop things and go, you know?
Okay,
I don't want to take people out of their role. Like, I don't want to take Niall and be like, yeah, well, fuck your family, we're going on a road trip.
I feel like it's a pre-planned thing, like everyone's on their summer break.
I'm gonna go with Eren, Connie, and Krista before she's Historia.
Man, I don't fucking know.
Because I feel like that'd be fun.
Erwin, and Pixis.
Oh, Pixis? You're taking him with you?
Yep.
Oh, no, that's creepy.
It's good that you're taking Pixis and Erwin, because that, like, just, you'd have the best time at the bar.
Yeah, that was my logic. We've seen, Hanji's a bar freak from that cover of Volume 14, And I think I remember reading some comic about Mike and Hanji taking Eren out for his birthday, and he got like hilariously drunk or something, and it was pretty funny.
That's amazing. Oh man.
God, I don't know. This is too hard.
Now I want to find that comic.
I'm having a hard time here, man. I don't know.
I'm thinking Mike for sheer just because Mike's a cool ass dude. He's someone that I could see just being fun as hell to just go across the
If you take him with you, I'm afraid you're going to end up in jail.
yeah, like there'd be some crazy adventures for sure.
I smell cocaine.
Maybe Connie too, because Connie's just a riot and a
You're
laugh.
going to take Connie and Mike, man. You're
Dude, it's going to be so much fun. And then we're going to take Jean, because we need a responsible person in there.
Jean's the responsible person?
That's a load of horse shit.
He's going literally horseshit. He's going to be the one that pays for gas and drives us around while we all get trashed.
John's a designated driver.
Yeah, he'll just be glumly sitting in a corner the entire time.
That's sad.
It's kind of sad, but 3 out of the 4 will be having a great time. So
it's good enough. 75%.
Yeah, that's 75% coverage. It's all right. It's all right. Susceptible losses.
Oh my god. It's not like Erwin.
Worst road trip ever.
God, man, I don't know. I think I've decided that my road trip is going to be to go to Lollapalooza, wherever that is.
That's a good place.
Yeah, but I'm not sure who to take with me.
No, I got one. Road trip to Burning Man with Mike, Connie, and Hanji.
Wow.
All of you are dead. Everyone is dead.
That would end in pure disaster.
I feel like Hanji would be a pyromaniac.
Hanji would be the one that lights the Burning Man on fire.
She'd probably jump on top.
Yeah, she probably would.
She'd be high as fuck, and she'd be like, "That's a titan," and then she'd try to kill it.
Yeah. That would be wow. That would be. I just want to make this happen through the magic of editing, just somehow have these characters do that.
Man, it's a tough choice, but I'm gonna have to settle on taking the RBA trio to Lollapalooza.
Did it specify where to go?
No.
Yeah, coast to coast.
Just coast to coast?
Coast to coast, that's fine. I'll assume I'm in Florida and I'm going to LA or something. I don't know. I don't know where Lollapalooza happens.
That's about coast to coast.
Scotty, what was your answer to that?
I said Connie, Eren, and Krista before she's Historia.
Okay. Tom, your answer. You had a couple of good answers, so I'm not sure.
Actually, I'm going to have to go with the last one. Connie, Mike, and Hanji to Burning Man. That would be just hilarious. I've only heard things about Burning Man, but I can imagine if I had to go with anyone to such an event, I would go with those crazy people.
Nice. Zach, you were going bar hopping with Pixis, Erwin, and
Hanji. And I don't even drink.
Now,
part of that's because I'm 16. The other part's because I just don't like alcohol.
Very, very appropriate response, I think.
Yep.
Good man. We're all gentlemen here.
That's right.
Oh, yes.
We're classy people.
Right. Don't let anyone tell you
Talk
otherwise.
about Burning Man and all this.
Yeah.
Getting high and climbing burning straw. Literal straw men.
Only the classiest of people in here.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
All right, so that's it for the questions.
All right.
Is there anything else we need to address about Chapter 65 before we say goodbye for this chapter?
I feel not.
I feel like we hit pretty much everything there was, man.
Anybody? Bueller?
What?
Okay, that was the Chapter 65 edition of A Cast on Titan. We will see you guys in the Aberrant cast. And after that, we will see you guys next month. See you guys later.
See ya.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Woo!
Schweinhunds.
Da 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 da.
Da-da-da.